Hi guys, Tuke here. I just got back from my newborn shoot and it was amazing. Today is the 21st of February. My baby is 15 days old and I am going to be sharing my delivery/labor story. So my baby's due date was actually the 10th to the 17th, but my mucus plug dropped on the late Sunday night, early Monday morning. So that's the 4th of February. And when it dropped, like, my sister was quite excited because she's supposed to travel that day and she wanted the baby to come before she left. And I was just like, Drapa, just stop these your prayers because I'm not ready for the baby to come. I said like a few things I wanted to buy and I hadn't yet like packed my hospital bag or recorded my hospital bag video. And I also hadn't yet done my antenatal class. So on the Monday, the 4th, I went to Brent Cross. I got all the final stuff in my hospital bag. On the Tuesday, I packed the bag. I recorded the what's in my hospital bag video. Then on Wednesday, he came. Now Monday night I had a few contractions, but it wasn't like too bad. Tuesday got a bit worse, and like Tuesday night at about like 10:43 the contractions were like a bit regular, and then we called like the hospital, the triage. Contractions were like every 7 minutes, and they were lasting for like 20-30 seconds, and they were like, we should call back or come over if they're like every 3 to 5 minutes and lasting for like 45 seconds. So by like midnight, 1 o'clock, it had hit that point. So we went to the hospital. It took us about 25 minutes to get there. They checked me and I was only like 1 to 2 centimeters dilated, and they were like, I should go home. If I want to stay, they'll have to give me this injection called pethidine. And in the UK, there are like different forms of pain relief you can get. So you start with gas and air, and the second stage is the pethidine, but then it makes you and the baby drowsy, and then the third stage is the epidural. And I didn't want to get the pethidine that early because I was only 1 to 2 centimeters dilated and I wasn't in like that much pain. So like I should go home, take paracetamol, and then soak in the bath if the contractions get worse. So I got home, took my paracetamol, slept at about 3 o'clock, woke up about 6. I was having these contractions and I would like scream. The way me and my husband communicate, like the bedroom is there and this is the living room, so I would like knock on the door and then he will now like time it on his he had the app, so he would time it and like note okay how often the contractions were coming. And they were quite painful. Like this one I was screaming more than I had there is, like I was like ah, and then I'll keep quiet. And things, I had like a paranoia, something like wheat flow on my hand. So this is it now. It's not completely healed. Yeah, so I know it's not very pretty. It's not completely healed, but then it was like pussy and it was swollen and it hurt. So I was dealing with like the pain from this and the pain from the contractions, but I didn't realize I was in active labor. My husband was like, okay babe, go and soak in the bathtub. I went to soak in the bathtub. I was still in pain, like every 5 or 3 minutes I would scream. And then the thing is, I had been feeling like I wanted to poo. And I know everyone is like, ah, if you are feeling like you wanted to poo, don't you know that that's baby? If my mom was like, that's baby coming, like if you had told her that I felt like I wanted to poo, she would have told me that that was the baby coming, but we didn't tell her. So that baby wants to poo, but the poo will come out, then I'll go back to the bed, I'll lie down, then the pain will come out, I'll scream, then I'll go to the toilet, try and poo, it won't come out. So that's what I was doing like all morning until about like 9:30ish. And then my water broke, so there was like a bubble, and I was like, babe, come, there's something. And then he came and he now went to go and call my mom. I was like, oh my gosh, that's the water about to break. And then it popped. So it was like a sack, and then it popped, and then something started dangling down. And my mom was like, that's the umbilical cord, it's the umbilical cord, get up, let's go to the hospital. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to any hospital, I'm not going to enter any stupid taxi, because the day before I think it was like 25-30 minutes to get there. I was like, no, I'm not going to enter a cab or a taxi in that condition, and they should come here. My husband and my mom were like, no, this guy, get up, you need to get into a taxi, blah blah blah. I was like, no, I'm not doing it, call the midwife. So they called the midwives. In the UK, it's the midwives that delivered the baby, except it's like really high risk, then the doctors have to be called in. So they were like that we should call 999 kind of thing. So my mom called 999, and my mom was on the phone with them for about 30 minutes. They were like, okay, first things first, I need to get off the toilet seat. So I got off the toilet seat. They were like, okay, I should get on, like I should lean on the bed, and they should put pillows under me, and like there was blood dripping down. And at that point, I think the ambulance was almost here. So my husband maybe saw them through the window and like ran down the stairs to go and meet them. He ran down 6 flights of stairs instead of him to use the lift. That's the adrenaline and the drama that was going on over here. So he ran down the stairs. My mom was on the phone with them, and they were like, okay, she should touch the umbilical cord thing that's dangling down, and can she feel a pulse? And she's like, she can't feel a pulse. And I'm like, Well, I can feel the baby kicking me, whether you feel a pulse or not, and then I'll scream. They were now telling my mom that, oh, she should put her hand in there, that what does she feel? She's like, she feels something soft like a tongue. And they were now like trying to explain that she should put her thumb and her index finger so much. Like, she can't do that she's not a medical professional, she can't do it, can you can't. They're like, madam, you need to do this. Like, they're like, you need to do this now. We need to ensure that everything's okay, kind of thing. She was like, she can't do it. Like, people are almost here. Anyways, my husband and I had come upstairs with the paramedics. So first there was 2 paramedics. They gave me gas and air. They checked my pressure. And then 2 more paramedics came. They made me wear like a tenor underwear, which is like incontinence pants. So I wore that. And then they were like trying to decide what hospital I should go to. So the hospital I was registered at, there was traffic going there. There were roadworks going on. So it was taking longer to get there. So they were like, oh, we're going to go to another hospital instead. Which was like my second option, but I chose that first one. So they were like, okay, let's go. I even thought they were going to have the baby in the house, but they were like, no, let's go. So I would still be having contractions, so every few minutes I would scream. Anyways, we walked to the lift. Shout out to like the NHS because they are awesome. Like the paramedics that came to the house were awesome. I was like leaning on them and I was like, ah, and then like they were like, okay, take it easy, breathe in. And I'm like, ah, like it was very like dramatic and emotional. So we got down the stairs. My husband ran down the stairs again, this time carrying the hospital bag and the baby bag. Like, and the hospital bag was not a small bag. So going to the ambulance, first time getting into an ambulance, and I was like leaning on the stretcher like a dog, like with my hands like this and my bum in the air kind of thing. And they were like, don't push. And I'm like, how can you guys tell me not to push? I need to push. I can't control myself. I was not pushing because I needed to pull, because it felt like I needed to pull, but it wasn't pull, but baby. So they were like, they need to put like drip in my hand kind of thing. So first they tried here, and I was just like, why do you have to do this now? Can't you do it when we land? Like, no, we have to do it now. I didn't know that they were preparing me for a cesarean section. So they put it here first, but the hand tissued. So they now put it like here. It was an interesting ride. They told my mom and my husband to turn off their phones, or they'll throw it out of the window. So we got to the hospital and it was legit like a movie, like an ER movie, like all these Grey's Anatomy and co. I don't watch all these medical series, but it just felt like a scene from one of them. So they like wheeled me into the hospital, and then there were like loads of different people in scrubs, like maybe 10 or 15. I was still in pain, so I was like, ah. Then I would look and observe what was going on. So they wheeled me into the theater. They were actually going to do a cesarean section. The week before, I had a session with the midwife, and I discussed my birth plan. And my plan was like, oh, I'll start with a water birth, and I'll start with gas and air, and then maybe I would labor in the water and then I'll move to the bed, or I would just give birth in the water kind of thing. Look at how you have plans and it just scatters. They wheeled me in, and to be honest, at that point I was at peace. I didn't mind that I would have had to do a cesarean. I was just like, you know what, let them just do whatever they need to do so that baby and mommy are safe. So they wheeled us in, then they moved me from the stretcher to like the proper bed in the theater, and there were lights and there were so many people everywhere. And I was just there lying down, and I was just like, ah, man, like I almost want to start playing this gospel playlist. Like, God knows how long we're going to be here for, because we hear stories of people being in labor for 6, 8, 10, 24 hours. So I was just like, I just wanted my husband to start playing the playlist. We had made the playlist on the Monday night, and I didn't even listen to it. And I was just like, I wonder if we even go through all these songs, because there were over 100 songs, like Nathaniel Bassey and Gloria, just all these really, really nice hymns, instrumentals, Kunle Ajayi, BJ Sax, Mike Arimo, all those people. So they moved me onto the bed. Please note, they wheeled me into the hospital at 10:22. They moved me to the bed, then they checked what it was that was dangling, and they were like, okay, it's actually not the umbilical cord, it's the membrane. So everybody was now like at peace, because if it was the umbilical cord, that means the situation was like super critical. But the fact that it was the membrane meant I could have a vaginal birth as planned. So a few people left the theater room, and it was a bit calm, and they're like, oh, they can see the baby's head, that I need to push. I was pushing, like, you know me, I've been pushing since, because I needed to push, so I wasn't having a problem with pushing. The gas and air really wasn't doing anything for me. I was just breathing it in and out. It didn't make me high, it didn't make me anything, it didn't make me woozy. They were like, push, they can see the baby's head, I just need to do a few more pushes. They're like, oh, my perineal muscles are really tight, they're gonna have to cut me. And things, when I had gone to the hospital at about that 1 o'clock, they were like, oh, my muscles are really tight. Like, it was a bit awkward for them to put their hand in and check how dilated my cervix was. Yeah, it's just weird having someone's hand going there, but they were like, yeah, my muscles are really tight, so they're going to have to cut me. After a few pushes, baby was out, so I got to the hospital at 10:22, and baby's time of birth was 10:36. Like, how amazing is that? And they were like, if my muscles weren't tight, I would have had the baby at home, like on the toilet seat. It's just funny that I didn't realize I was in active labor. Nobody realized I was in active labor. It's also funny that no one realized it wasn't the umbilical cord, but it was the membrane. But I just thank God for like a quick delivery, because I'd been praying and believing that I wanted a quick delivery, because my friend told me was actually born like in the house on her brother's first birthday, and like I was claiming that prayer. Another friend of mine was like, oh, her cousin had a baby in 7 minutes. So that's the kind of prayer I was praying. God truly answers prayers, because my baby came quick. Afterwards, they gave me 1 injection to get the placenta out. They also had given me an anesthesia down there before they cut me, before the episiotomy. So they wheeled me out of the theater, took me to a room. Oh yeah, when the baby came out, they just threw the baby on me, and it just felt so real. It just felt amazing. Like, I was just grateful to God that the baby was here and he was cute and he had hair. I was very glad that he had hair. And I was like, thank God, my baby has hair, my baby has hair. So that was like one major thing that got me really excited. So yeah, they moved me to another room, and they had to like suture where they cut. 2 weeks after, I still not fully healed. So yeah, they sewed me up, which was actually like uncomfortable. I didn't really enjoy that bit. And then I used the toilet, and there was like a big blood clot that came out when I used the toilet that evening and the next day, and they say that's normal. And then they took me to the room upstairs, and yeah, it was nice. My dad already started sending messages out to like people in church and family members, so I was getting a lot of messages. I didn't even tell my friends until much later in the day, because there was just a lot going on. I just wanted to like digest everything that had happened. It was amazing, and I thank God for a safe delivery. Yeah, I just thank God for everything, like the whole pregnancy, because it was him throughout. If you guys have any more questions about like my labor or delivery, feel free to leave them in the comment section below, and I'll probably do like a pregnancy Q&A, because I'm sure there are like some questions people would have that I haven't yet answered. But yeah, that's my delivery story. I was discharged from the hospital the day after. It's funny, I didn't even feel the pain of the episiotomy, because they gave me that injection thing again before they sewed it up. I think they like doubled the dose. So I actually didn't even feel the pain of the suturing, the sewing, until I was leaving the hospital. And my guys, I was limping. It wasn't cute. It actually wasn't really cute at all. I would do a video on like postpartum, like healing and just dealing with everything. If you have any questions on that, leave them below as well so I can answer them. Books I read, maybe I'll do a video on that, but like supernatural childbirth, and then some podcasts I was listening to. I'll probably do a video on all those things, like resources I used during my pregnancy. My dad's a mommy. I feel great. Honestly, I don't think I realized how much of a miracle childbirth is, because anything can happen. God is amazing. It's mind-blowing. Like my daddy, my daddy's so cute. Afterwards, he was super grateful, and he just kept on saying he was so proud of me, and that was really touching. We thank God for safe delivery. We thank God for good health. We did health checks before we left the hospital, and everything was like okay. We have immunizations coming up. In England, you do like a 6-week check, and then you do like an 8-week immunization, and then a 12-week one, a 16-week one. The NHS is amazing. They're actually amazing. Like, kudos to the NHS. Kudos to the NHS. So that is my delivery story in a nutshell. Oh, and he weighed 2.88 kg. And you know how like when you just ask someone, oh, when was your baby born, and they can tell you the exact date, the exact time, how much the baby weighed. Like, I understand. Like, I will never forget it, because it was just so momentous. Like, there's no reason why I would forget this, because that moment is forever lashed in my head. Even in my husband said, like, history was just like, you understand why people always like remember the time of their baby's birth and how much they weighed. It's actually a miracle. I pray that anyone who is seeking God for this sort of miracle is blessed with it, because it's actually life-changing. Like today at the shoot, like the photographer was so amazing, and she was so nice. She was like, oh, you can take pictures with your phone, and it was just emotional. I actually started crying at it, but I was like, man, this baby is beautiful. Like, God has actually blessed. Like, this is a blessing. Like, I don't take it for granted at all. So yeah, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to leave a comment. You can let me know how your delivery experience was. Every pregnancy is different. Like, even people that have like multiple children, no delivery story is the same. So yeah, tell me what your own delivery story is like. Subscribe to my channel, check out my blog, and subscribe to it too. Like, I have the pregnancy tag post on my blog. I have maternity shoot pictures on my blog as well. Follow me on Instagram. I'm at Tuke on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. So yeah, thanks for watching, and see you in my next video. Bye.